Welcome back, RnR Talk, episode 7. We're back here with the man, Chad Rhoades. Chad, before we get into, just going down, how was those 2 off days?
2 off days were nice. Got to spend those all day with the baby. Give my wife a little breather. They went by quick. They go by quick. But no, it was nice to get able to spend some time with them, unwind from the road trip. Got off our first one. And just kind of get back, get our feet underneath us again, and get ready for a whole week at home.
Yep, finally back from a 5-game road trip. We're here in beautiful Florence, northern Kentucky, and we're back in our suites. We're back in the homeland. We got our chairs back, and it feels good.
It does feel good.
Feels good. Although we may do, on the road, a few RnR talks.
Some better backgrounds.
Yep. Some series wraps on the road as well. But let's talk about that series against the Schaumburg Boomers. Did not go entirely the Y'all's way. You could point out in Game 1, probably, a lack of hitting, and in Game 2, a lack of pitching. So you can't really put it on one thing there. But let's talk about Game 1 first. You're running into a guy like Cole Cook, reigning pitcher of the year. What'd you see from him? 7 innings, 11 Ks. He obviously dominated. But I know you've seen him before.
I've seen him before. I've seen him probably 5 or 6 times. Unfortunately, we typically come out on the bad end of those outings.
Yeah.
But what I saw this one, this is a completely different offense that I've seen him pitch to before. And I saw him, he pulled out all the stops. There was a different look on his face than I saw the last couple outings. I saw him last year when he pitched against the club that we had at Joliet. It was different. Yes, it was different on Friday. He was determined. I mean, you could tell he was locked in. There wasn't any joking around with some guys behind him that he's done in the past. Not saying he's jokey, but it's just he takes a little bit more light sometimes. Yeah. But I didn't see that at all. I thought he was on his mix from the beginning, and we got a plan to attack those guys. Those type of guys we're not going to see. You're going to see. Look, you might see 1 or 2 of those types of pitchers in this league. Guys that know their stuff, and throttle a couple different pitches. Pitch in and out of the zone. They're able to massage the edges. I mean, he's got enough experience to be able to do that. That's why he's good. That's why he's 2-time pitcher of the year. He knows how to use his stuff. Knows how to use his fastball. But I think he pulled out all the tricks and he did everything he could to be able to take them as deep as they could in that game because they didn't want to pass that stick off. You say they rode him to the 7th. I know his bullet count was probably down a little bit because he has quick innings. But even so, going those 7-ups. That's a lot earlier this year, but I knew where they were at. And I knew what they were trying to do to win that first game, especially with the dog on the mound. And it almost came back to bite me. I told Dave going out there, I was like, oof. Seen Jamie do it before. I was like, don't. He might have rode him a little bit too long right here. I was like, Dave, we're going to get him.
Yeah.
He put him in 1 too many innings. We had a couple guys on right there.
Yep.
I thought it was going to happen. But, no, this guy, he's stifling to the offense, and so the message going out after that game is, look, fellas, I don't want to do it, but you have to sometimes. You got to tip your cap. I mean, this guy's pretty good. He's obviously the 2-time pitcher of the year. Like, you got to tip your cap to him. He ran into a buzzsaw, but that does not define our offense by any means. We're going to have a plan for him next time. He had to pull out everything to be able to get through you guys multiple times. I was like, and he won't have anything left to show us next time. Like, he doesn't have anything left. We know exactly what he's going to do. We know how we're going to attack him. But put that behind us because I thought we did a good job when the relievers came in to get back to stay within our approach. We didn't let him get us off of it too much. I just thought there's a couple guys in the lineup he let frustrate a little bit more than they should have allowed, and that kind of carried over into some frustration building, trying to do a little bit too much. But I thought we bounced back well as far as. There was some streaky hitting. It wasn't necessarily that consistent. Guys setting up, getting scoring position, and doing anything, manufacturing. I didn't think we were able to run as much as I wanted to run on the bases and test the catchers they had. So those are good things, man. I think the team knows who we're stacked up against. I mean, that's the team we're going to have to beat to get in. And I do think we stack up well against them, especially if our arms are locked and loaded and we're full health. That was another thing. We didn't get to get Olivier's innings that whole road trip, so that kind of hurt. We had to pick those up somewhere else and kind of playing mixed match from Game 3 on that road trip on. But we're happy the way we came back. It's frustrating to come back 2 and 3, but we're feeling good being back home. We got 6 at home, Let's get into a work routine. I think that was one of the most frustrating things about that road trip. You can say it's 10:30 games in the morning, but what that does, it messes up your routine. So you're not able to necessarily get in the same work routine that we want to do, cover all these things, and get the consistent amount of reps to be able to play like we're going to get this week. And I think you're going to see a completely different team.
Yeah, and we spoke about it too. It's not like Cook was overpowering at all. He's not a guy that's going to blow it by you with high 90s. He's just a pitcher. He's a pitcher's pitcher, and he's going to have those outings. Good thing is the Y'alls do face Schaumburg 10 more times, so you might see him again, might not. Either way, we will be playing the Boomers again. On the other side of the ball, Joe Kemlage making his first start of the season. He did appear out of the pen behind Villalobos in Game 3 against Quebec, but he did very good. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run. You can honestly even argue if that was earned because that was scored on the bobble in left field from Zeisler.
Yep.
But he looked very good. He was matching Cole Cook through 5 innings. Once he left, it was still a 1-0 ball game for Schaumburg. And then we got to the pen. How does that make you feel that, Kemlage, kind of your 4 or 5 starter entering the season here, he comes out and he's, able to stifle an offense, kind of easily, not really too easily, but he didn't face too much trouble.
No, I know what type of lineup Jamie's going to build, and what type of hitters he has, and I think Kemlage, it doesn't matter how many times they face him, he's going to come out on top in those matchups. His stuff's pretty good. He's a hard guy to jump early because he's a little bit sporadic in the zone. Not necessarily pinpoint control, but the stuff makes up for it. He got late movement. I mean, he's 2 to 4 with a nasty break ball that he can throw for strikes and for strikes to balls. So he's a hard guy to match up with, especially if so many right-handed or left-handed bats they got. And he's going to keep the runners close to first. The only thing with Joe was, we asked a lot going after that 5th. He was ready to go 4. We knew that. Bullet counts were a little bit down, so we're going to send him back out for that 5th and not trying to match up with Cole Cook and what they're doing, but trying to keep our guys on a plan of progression. Like I said, he only had 3 on his first outing after Villalobos. So 5 was a big ask, but I thought he took the ball, and I thought his stuff was still there. I could see him getting a little bit tired. Some of the pitches started leaking out over the plate, falling out of his delivery a little bit more. But I think after going through that now, 5 is going to be kind of a piece of cake because he's been to that deep water. I'm not going to try and stretch him past 6 or 7. We got a pitch count on him in general, but I think just having those 5 ups for him, he's going to have a better head on his shoulders going into the 5th inning, knowing what it's going to feel like, not out there guessing.
Yeah, and that's good to hear. Obviously, Kemlage gonna be the 4 guy. Maybe bump him up to the 3. If some other things happen, maybe Watson could get picked, but. That is good to have against such a good offensive team like the Boomers, and that'll transition me to the next game. And obviously that's where the hitting was still kind of there, but the pitching lacked. And that's when we had Ross Thompson on the mound after a late scratch to Blake Loubier. Ross kind of just thrown into the fire there, facing a good team where the long ball hurt him, 4 home runs within 3 innings of work. What'd you see from Rossi, coming out there?
Ross does what he does. He's a consummate strike thrower, and a team like this is going to kind of have the approach that we're going to take against a guy like Cole Cook next time. You're going to jump him early. You're not going to allow them to get comfortable and find the zone. You're going to go ahead and jump them early. Pitches early in the count. That way they can't get their footing. They can't throw all their 3 or 4 different pitches for strikes. And so they got on. I guess the second and third time through, I think they were over 50% first pitch hack. Because they know he throws strikes, and it's not a knock against Ross. It's just learning for him. A little bit more of that feel as far as who's taking control of those at-bats. Are you in control of those at-bats on the mound, or are you allowing the other team to take control of those at-bats by the way they swing during the counts? Yeah. And I thought that they had control of those. And so, to me, being able to take advantage of that is being able to learn how to throw good quality balls, knowing how to move some feet, make guys a little bit more uncomfortable. And that's not necessarily all on Ross. It's just lessons that he can learn to make himself a little bit easier going into a spot start, knowing when I can back you off the plate and move him, rather than just keep throwing pumping strikes when they're out there being really aggressive when they need to be calmed down a little bit. And that kind of that strike throwing ability, what he showed and got them swinging earlier, they're able to find that zone a little bit quicker. They're able to take those big free swings, and they're able to lay off some off speed later in counts, which hurts bullpen guys coming in because they've already seen a lot of this stuff coming in. So if you're coming in doing the exact same thing that Ross was, trying to get ahead, you're going to get big swings on you too, just because that's the way the story's been going in the game. So I thought we could have did a better job of pitching inside, being a little more aggressive as far as backing some of those big swings off the plate. But I liked the way Ross did, man. He did what he needed to do. He came in through strikes for the club. He forced action. I know one of the frustrating things was that, there was, I think, a couple of walks that we did have scored. That's been the name of the game since this whole thing's been going on. But, I mean, that was the first game that we've been out hit.
Yep.
I just thought it was, it comes down to us, too. Those walks score, and we got to limit the amount of free passes we give. So on the pitcher side, I'm glad Ross picked us up. It was huge for him to be able to pick us up and give us those innings and fill that gap when we needed it. But come out on the unfortunate end of a guy who is out there to throw strikes and bridge the gap rather than to start a game and be able to go through a lineup a couple times efficiently. Yeah,
and I think that's what you got to take out of it. It's not like you're going to see Ross starting a lot of games this season. He's great out of the pen, and he's great as a long relief guy as well. But it's not like you will be starting him too much, so you can't harp on it. Entirely. What I like to see out of the offense is, even flashback to the Quebec series, we're able to knock starting pitchers out of the game. Did so a little bit in Windy City as well. In Schaumburg, weren't getting so much to their starter, but we're getting to their bullpen. Their bullpen entered with a 1.17 ERA and left there with +3, high threes. So we got to their bullpen. That was very good, obviously, to begin the season. What does that say to you? We can knock pitchers out in the beginning. We can knock pitchers out at the end. All that going to come together?
It's going to come together. I feel good about that as far as sticking with an approach from the beginning. And like I said, getting through that routine. But it's one of those things that I think teams are going to realize very quickly is velo is not going to beat us. Velocity is not something that bothers our guys. It's not going to be a problem. Anybody. I mean, that guy got picked up from Windy City that was 97, 99, all over that guy.
Yeah.
Velocity is not going to beat this club, and that's something I've always kind of look for in my offense is we got to hit the fastball, baby. Like, you ain't going anywhere. You can't hit the heater. And we're very good at that. I think we're going to tighten up on our two-strike hitting a little bit more. I thought it was we got a little overzealous on the Hickert game. He's spraying the ball over the place. I thought we helped him out in a couple counts that we could have took some pitches and saw him and forced him in the zone more, which I don't think he's going to be in the zone. I don't think Cook probably threw maybe 5 fastballs for called strikes, to be honest with you. So it's forcing guys to be able to use their heater, get them out of their approach. And I think it's easier for us to do that against those relievers because we have a better plan than I think the relievers coming in.
Yeah.
I think what happens is we need to be able to focus a little bit more on, like we did in some games against Quebec, is getting the starting pitcher off his plan and initiating ours. It's kind of like we fell into, let's see what their plan is, and then we try and go from there. It's what happened to Schaumburg, rather than implementing what we want to impose our will on that starting pitcher. We don't want to allow him to get to his plan and do his thing. But I think we're very capable of doing that on relievers, especially if it's an ego guy who thinks he's going to beat us with a heat.
Yeah, and it really is good to see. Honestly, as the broadcaster, I'm like, oh man, we have that capability to knock someone out early on, capability to knock the bullpen out later on in games, and I'm just excited to see all of it come together. Where we're back to mashing. I speak to Zayd Richardson a lot. It's a party 1 through 9. The lineup, however you want to build it. Those guys, they all know they can mash, and they're all ready to go up there. Let's take a little bit of a preview at the Gateway Series coming up here. 3-game series, 6-game homestand. Is it Lake Erie coming in after that?
I think we got Evansville, and then
Evansville. That's who it is. Go to Lake Erie. Perfect. So 3-game series coming up against Gateway. Watson, Villalobos, Kemlage, probable starters for those games. So you got, we got some solid arms going. Going to be facing some of their good guys. But what do you know about Gateway?
Steve Brook over there, the manager over there, he always has the same plan, the same philosophy, and it works for him. He kind of builds a team environment where he allows those guys to kind of do what they want to do together. He gets a lot of contact guys. They're not going to punch out a lot. They're aggressive on the bases. They're going to be really aggressive on the bases. They like to get on. They like to do the small ball, and they kind of like it's very similar to our approach and plan as far as two-strike hitting. Looking to get in a scoring position, like they're looking to do that. So it's a good matchup. Not necessarily worried about their arms as much. I think we're going to handle them up here. But they're a good club. They're always going to be a good club. I think they won our division last year. Got knocked out in the playoffs, I believe. They had a good run last year. Had a couple good players. They got some of the returners, but it's going to be a fun series with Steve. He's going to do a lot of matchups in the bullpen. You're going to see a lot of pitch changes there. But it's fun baseball, and he does everything by the book to a T. So it's always interesting because you got to be on top of it. We just play a little bit better and take more extra bags and make sure we make the routine plays.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. 3-game homestand coming up against the Grizzlies. Come on out, $2 Tuesdays. Wednesday, I think we have Hometown Heroes, and then Thirsty Thursday
Camel hats.
coming as well. Camo hats? Is that a giveaway?
No, I know the team's wearing them. I don't think they're selling them. I think
Okay.
they might be giving some.
Yeah, perfect. Very good. So come on down. A lot of fun here at Thomas More Stadium. Game tonight, 6:42. Ryan Watson, the ace of the Alls, taking on Nathaniel Tate. Stay with us and catch us next time on RnR Talk.